SEAT has been something of a problem child for the VW group in the past, but it's amazing how quickly things can change in the car business, and now it's posting profits, sales are up, and it's just had the biggest possible honour bestowed upon it. The new Ibiza debuts the MQB A0 platform. Might not sound a lot, but in the car world, that's a really, really big deal. It's going on the Ibiza before it goes on the Volkswagen Polo, the Audi A1, numerous other small SUVs, and of course the Skoda Fabia. But is it any good? So first impressions of the Ibiza, well, you can sum it up really in 2 words: grown up. This new MQB A0 platform makes the Ibiza feel, well, very much like a Leon or a Golf or an Octavia, which isn't a bad thing because it tends to ride quite nicely. This is the FR version, which is slightly sporty, 150 PS, so what's that, about 148 brake horsepower, 147 brake horsepower, thereabouts, and obviously sitting on slightly sexier wheels, so the ride is a little bit firm. But I've spent a lot of time in the 1 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder 115 PS, 114 brake horsepower engine. Really enjoyed that, smaller wheels, and it just felt so mature, so comfortable, really refined, so quiet in fact that you can notice the wind noise rushing around these very angular wing mirrors, and that's a bit of a theme for this car. If you look at it on the outside, some really crisp lines, and when I say crisp I mean actually crisp. You know, they are manufactured really well, and that's the one thing about this factory, this SEAT factory here in Martorell. They actually make cars for Audi. The quality is that good. But let me talk to you about quality, because your definition of quality might be very similar to my definition of quality, which is some nice squishy plastics. So in here, if you look at the dashboard, looks nice, feels nice, but it's not that squishy soft plastic that you'll probably get on the Volkswagen or the Audi version. But chatting to Luca Di Maio, who's SEAT's charismatic chairman, he said bluntly, we've got to build it to a price. Either you can have squishy plastics, it's going to cost you more, and that's not really where SEAT is, and that's where the differentiator is as well between Volkswagen, Audi, SEAT and Skoda. So I'm now doing 60, approaching 70 miles an hour. This is a Supermini. You know, this is a car that's going to start at around £13,000, and it's seriously quiet. Listen. Sure, this is the new 1.5 litre engine, and it's got quite a bit of poke. You're going to be able to have some fun with this. But even in the 3-cylinder, there's a little bit of 3-cylinder thrum, as we call it, when you're accelerating away. But at a cruise, I tell you what, it's seriously impressive when you think how far cars have come. We don't yet know whether there's going to be a Cupra version of the Ibiza. Let's hope so. But for the moment, this FR is about as hot as it gets. And in terms of ride handling combination, or the balance there, it's pretty impressive. Rides reasonably comfortably, turns in fairly sharpish. Not a huge amount of feel through the steering, but you can have a little bit of fun with it. And it looks pretty good. The FR gets the blanked out wing mirrors, it gets twin exhausts at the back. It's a really good looking Supermini. As you'd expect these days, there is a strong tech story to be told with the new Ibiza, and every model in the UK from SE Technology, which is going to be the best seller, upwards, so you get SE Technology, FR, or the more luxurious Excellence version above them. You'll have this lovely touchscreen, which every time your hand goes towards it, the menus pop up in a slightly spooky way. There's an S and an SE version, which I don't think they're going to sell too many of, because the dealers are just going to, as they say, walk you up into the more expensive versions. Have this lovely 8-inch glass effect touchscreen with just 2 knobs on either side. Most of it is dealt with on the touchscreen, but thankfully, and this I like, is the navigation stuff is all in the touchscreen, but the heating and ventilation system, the air conditioning, the climate control is separate, so you don't have to go through menus if you just want to whack the temperature up or down, or demist the windows. You'll get loads of other tech on this car as well. I'm sure it'll be able to park itself or something like that, but more importantly, it's got pedestrian detection with braking, it's got automatic cruise control, really technology that is coming down to the Supermini sector that we haven't seen before. From a practical point of view, although this car is 2mm, tiny 2mm shorter than the old one, there's actually more space inside, 35mm more knee room in the back, because the wheelbase has been stretched by 95mm. The boot also, they claim that it's bigger than a Ford Focus, but this has got 300 odd litres of boot space for a Supermini. Pretty impressive. Now, I'm pretty comfortable at the back. I've managed to sit behind myself as well, so there's plenty of room for a couple of burly blokes in the back, or 3 kids will be very, very happy. This is a Supermini that's really bordering on the small hatch territory. Now, SEAT says the average age of an Ibiza buyer is 10 years younger than the class average. So will those young people like the newfound maturity of the Ibiza? I think they will. You see, the Supermini market isn't exactly flush with great cars at the moment, and this Ibiza, I think it now sets the class standard.